I mean, as Paul said, as Paul said here in Philippians chapter 3, you know, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead. Not as though I had already attained unto the resurrection of the dead, either were already made perfect. He's talking about the body, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehended of in Jesus. I mean, we got to understand what he's talking about, because moving on into perfection, this is what the writer of Hebrews is talking about in chapter 5 and 6, having so many things he wants to tell them about. The Jesus as our high priest after the order of Melchizedek and not after the order of Aaron, and hard to be put into words since they become dull of hearing. He says that owing because of time, you ought to be teachers. He says one has need to teach you again the chief or the first principles of the utterances or the oracles or teachings or sayings of God, and are in need of milk and not solid food. For solid food belongs to those who are of full age, who by reason of use have their senses trained to discern between good and evil. And then in chapter 6, and you got to understand Greek isn't written in chapter and verse and punctuation and all that. He's continuing a thought in chapter 6, verse 1. Moving on then, leaving the elementary teachings of Christ, let us be born or carried on unto perfection, not laying again a foundation of repentance from dead works and of faith towards God, and of teachings of baptism, the laying on of hands, and the resurrection of the dead, and eternal judgment. And this shall we do if God permit. I mean, what you got to understand, you can't move on unto perfection if you continue in the same old cycle over and over and over in your life, and you never learn obedience. And this is what the writer of Hebrews is getting at when he shared that concerning Jesus, who on the eve of his crucifixion offered up prayers with strong cryings, with tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard and that he feared. And having been made perfect, he became the author, the initiator of eternal salvation to as many as obey him. This is the same thing Paul is talking about in Philippians chapter 3. Not as though I had already attained unto the resurrection